What's going on, people? It is the Be More Dark Knight, the cool Be More Trucker. And today I'm going to talk about my first two loads. So, my first load, I left from the Jonestown terminal here in PA, went down, took an empty down to Sparrows Point. It was a towel center that I went to right across from the Amazon Center. For those of you who know about Sparrows Point in Baltimore, and then that took me up to a distribution center up in Devens, Massachusetts. Which, for those of you who are in the military that may be watching this, I literally drove right past Fort Devens, Massachusetts, and this is where I went to my basic and advanced sergeant's academy, or NCO academy, for those who understand what I'm talking about. But for those civilians who are watching, we'll just say I drove past the same base where I went to my sergeant's academy. And it brought back some memories on that run. It was pretty cool. So the run was nice and easy. Everything went smooth on that one. The only thing that didn't go so smooth is let's see, I started on the 9th. So that delivery was supposed to have been picked up on the 8th. Some reason I got it when I started, and immediately, I told my driver leader, I was like, hey, this is going to be late, right? Because this is supposed to have been done, should have been picked up yesterday and delivered, midnight tonight. And so it was a little rough getting out of the terminal at first, just because there were some things that needed to be taken care of on both ends. And we finally got that hashed out, and then I rolled out. The one thing that I did at the beginning was I slid my tandems forward to about the 10th hole. And one of the pointers that I'm going to give, and I saw this on somebody else's video, and I can't remember whose video it was, but I noticed that they put a chalk mark on their tandem where they were going to slide it to, so that way when they got out, they could see where the pin was in relation to it. So I think I'm going to take that and use it. But on that run, everything went smooth except for, kind of getting started. And what I'll say is, for those who are starting, don't expect your first day or even your first couple days or even first month maybe for everything to go smooth, because things are going to go wrong. But take it as a learning experience. They're not going to fire you for, things going wrong, as long as it's not an accident, as long as you didn't kill nobody, no crazy stuff like that, right? You make a few mistakes here, they expect that. I mean, as a military instructor, when my soldiers don't understand something from the jump, I expect them to make mistakes. They make mistakes here in practice, so when they get out there, they're not making those mistakes. Now, on the flip side, you as a driver, if you're making mistakes with, like I had, and this is more on my second run, but I had some things happen at my second run that didn't go quite as well, and I'll get into that on a little bit. But my first run was pretty smooth, and like I said, it was just little rough start. But once I got on the road, got rolling, it was good. I got up to the center. I got up to the distribution center, and I pulled in, and I noticed there was another truck waiting or getting ready to leave. So I pulled in. I pulled around behind him. And when the gentleman came out to take my paperwork, he was like, hey, I want you to park in this, bay. I'll just pick a number, bay 3. And when I looked at it, I was like, oh, snap. Okay, blindside back. And actually, the load wasn't due until later that day. But they took it early because it was already late. So they took it early, no ding on me. And the crazy thing was that blindside back was tight, and I'll say it was tight because there was cars right there. You know, you've got a 74-foot trailer, and I think there was another maybe 50 feet or so in front of me, maybe a little bit more. And it was a drop down. Now there was a little hump in the road, but I don't think that hump would have been enough to stop this truck if if it was to go over. But you know, my first setup wasn't so good. I went to, you know, do a 90-degree blindside alley dock, and that didn't go as planned. So I reset up, and once I reset up, do you need me to move? You need me? Oh, okay. I thought this guy needed me to move, but he didn't say anything. But anyway, okay, he found a parking spot. Cool. So anyway, did the my first, like I said, my first setup wasn't that great. And so I reset up, and then boom, put it right into the hole. Good to go. There was a little hump on the ground, and some break in the pavement that made it a little rough to get the truck in. I'm driving an international, so you know, made it a little hard. But I got it into the hole. It was a live offload, and I was good to go. And then immediately I got another load, and that load was a Plan T call bringing me down to PA. So I had to go over to another site. So actually, I had received two loads. One was going to take me to PA to pick up a load and take it down to Georgia, and then the other load, which I would have taken, but the other load was saying from Massachusetts, which I was literally 50 miles away, to Jonestown, PA. So I chose that one. I was already there. So I went to that one, picked up, and this is one of the reasons why I say I'm going to use the chalk, because one, you know, it just makes it easier. But as I was sliding the tandems there, I realized I slid them the wrong direction. So initially I started off with 300 pounds over on my tandems, and I slid it the wrong direction, and I ended up 1400 over. And I was like, oh man. So, you know, I started counting the holes again, and I went back, and I was like, all right. So that's why I'm going to use the chalk. So that way, when I'm counting these holes, I can just mark it, and I know exactly where I'm going to, you know, put it at. You know, I know some people say the sweet spot on the tandems is between 10 and 13. And that's where I started off. I had it at the 10 mark, and that's when the guy said, oh, you're only over 300. So, you know, there's some things that's going to go wrong. Now, at this second pickup, the problem that I had once I left the scale the first time, I went over to try to slide the tandems, and it just locked. The tandems weren't there. And this is a piece of advice I want to give everybody. Make sure that when you go to slide your tandems, or you go to close your trailer doors, and the trailer doors is something that I learned on when I was still on my mentor truck. If the truck is kind of like on an angle, the tandems will have a hard time sliding, and they may not slide at all. So you want to make sure you're on as level a road as possible, level of pavement as possible. And the same thing with your doors. They may not close all the way. Some of these trailers have been used and used and used. I know they maintain them, but you know, the fact is it's been used, and sometimes they can be temperamental. So so that was a Plan T call. So I got it, you know, I finally, once I got the weight straight and I got rolling. The only other hiccup that I had was they gave me a fuel stop that was too far away for the amount of fuel that I had left in my tank. So I requested a new fuel stop closer to my location. They gave it to me, and I got, you know, once I got rolling, I got here with probably about 30 minutes on my drive clock left, which was fine. You know, and I had to use the rest of that time to go over to the Love's truck stop and pick up a scale sheet. So I had to scale my vehicle, even though they did it at the shipper and it was on the paperwork. But the gentleman said at the T-call window he actually needed a real scale sheet. So, no problem. I went over there and used it. And this is another tip. Your Com Data card can, I put it on me. I know I'll get reimbursed, but the next time your Com Data card, if it's something for corporate, if you're doing it for your job, most of the truck stop workers will say, is this corporate? Your answer is yes. If it's a scale ticket, your answer is yes. That way Swift or whoever you're working for, if that's in their policy, excuse me, they're picking it up. And I'm sure it's in every trucking company's policy that if you're going to a weigh scale, they'll pick up the charge on it off of your Com Data card or whatever fleet card that you're using. So um, your first couple of days, probably month, maybe months of learning experiences. You're out here on your own, and you're gonna learn. Uh, I got 30 years. Will be 31 years in the Army, and I didn't, you know, go through basic training knowing everything, or went to my advanced training knowing everything, or even up until now, I'm still learning stuff. So I'm sure in this industry, um, I'm going to be learning every single time I go out. And there was when I was having problems with the tandems, there was another Swift driver. I waved him down as because he was parked. He was right behind me on the scale, and I waved him down, and he came over and he was like, "Yeah, let me help you out." He had that problem too, so he broke out his hammer and stuff, and we went through it, and then we looked at the truck like, oh, wait a minute, you're on a little incline, so let's pull it forward a little bit and get it straightened out. And as soon as we did that, them tandems started sliding. So, learning process. Um, Next time I'll be a little bit faster. But still, I've got 3 days in on the road, and I'm sitting at about 940 some odd miles, which my goal is really to get around 2,000 a week. So I'm 1,100 short of that 2,000 goal, so I need some miles. Um, so I had a classmate that quit. He just told me yesterday he quit, and I don't know his situation, but I just look at it from a standpoint of you got to be patient. He's actually about a month ahead of me, and that's because like I said on one of my videos, I injured my knee, had to leave and then come back, and they had already graduated by the time I had come back. So he's about a month ahead of me, and he quit. And when I asked him why he quit, he's like, "Man, I've been sitting here for 2 days and couldn't get a load." And he couldn't go home, I guess, because he was too far away. They couldn't deadhead him or whatever the case may be. And I look at that, and like I said, I don't know what his situation is. I don't know what his financial situation is, or any of that. So he may need to be making money like that, and I get it. But I look at it from a patience type thing, or um, persistence type thing. So on your Qualcomm, you can request that they send you loads, and it is actually a macro 30. It's called request available load selection. So if you send that, you don't have to put any information in. You just hit select on it and you hit send, and they will send you 2 or 3 load requests. And you go through and you look at the ones and you pick the one that you want. And you go. Now, if they don't send you one, you need to be persistent. And I don't know if he was. I don't want to sound like I'm judging him, because again, I don't know a situation, and I wasn't in his truck with him. But I look at this as you got to be persistent. If you want to make money, you got to be persistent. You got to tell your driver leaders or whoever's at that window, that T-call window, for the 24 hour, sitting at the window for 24 hours. You got to tell them, look, I don't want to be sitting. I want loads. I want to get stuff done. I want to be moving. That's what I told my driver leader. I said, look, if you're going to have me away from home for a couple of weeks, I want to work. Don't have me sitting. Because if I'm sitting, obviously I'm not making money, right? So I am short of my 2,000. Actually, my goal is 2,500. So if I can get 2,500 miles a week, that is my ideal. You know, I figured 2,500 miles. That's 500 miles a day. You know, that's what I really want to do. I can run. I just want those miles. So be persistent. Know your own situation as far as your financial, you taking care of your family and stuff, and go out there and get it because it's out here. Um, but don't forget the macro 30. Don't forget that you can go into your app and you can send requests for uh, origins. Like if you want to go to a certain place to pick up from, you can do that. You can destinations. You got certain places that you can go in there and select that. Um, you can change your PTA in your app if you want. Like my PTA today is at almost 2 o'clock. I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. I woke up a little late. I got a chance to do some laundry, and I'm about to go get something to eat here in a little bit. So I'm okay with that. But what I won't be okay with if I just sit all day. So I want to actually run, or at least if they give me a load and I can start early in the morning, I'll be fine with that too. Um, so I'm just going to see what's up. I got about 43 hours and some change on my clock. So, if I sit for a day, I'm not impatient. I can wait as long as I get a load that I can leave relatively early in the morning and get her done. We good to go. Um, so let's see what happens. Let's see how this goes. I'm excited. I love this stuff. It's great, and I hope for those of you who are getting ready to get out on the road, you have fun too. All right. So enough of my babbling. I'm gonna go in here in this terminal and kind of see what kind of goodies they have for us drivers, and I'm gonna come in here and watch some South Park. All right. So this is the Cool Be More Trucker. If you have any questions, hit me up. I keep saying coolbmoretrucker@gmail.com. Let me correct that now. It's like I don't know my own email address. It's coolbmoretrucking@gmail.com. Coolbmoretrucking.com. All right. Coolbmoretrucking@gmail.com. So y'all have a good day. Be safe out there. Stay at home if you don't need to be out. And if you do need to be out, make sure you cover your mouth and your nose. All right. Take care of yourself, and y'all have a good day. Be more Dark Knight out of here.